Good days, guys. Today I would like to continue with another topic, which is quadratic equation and quadratic function. So this is practice SPM 2 for you to prepare for your mid-year exam, or maybe your final exam, or maybe your trial exam coming soon. So please scan the barcode here, right, so that you can print out and then practice with me. Okay, have you scanned? Alright. So for this topic, it consists of paper 1 and paper 2. So I will actually focus on paper 1 first, then I will upload another video on paper 2, because this topic actually is considered quite tough for many students. Quadratic equation. Okay, so it's okay, let's practice now, then the tough and difficult things will become easy, right? So you see this question, given negative 3 is one of the roots. When you see the roots, it means what? The roots actually in quadratic equation, it means x, right? The x negative 3. Okay, instead of say one of the roots is negative 3, I can write x is equal to negative 3 of the quadratic equation. That means actually the roots was given. So if you solve it, you will actually get one of the roots, which is negative 3. So since it is the roots, all the roots actually can be substituted into the equation. Alright? So I'm going to substitute negative 3 and then minus p and then square, and then I will solve, right? So how to solve this is actually you can either expand, but since it is perfect square, I would like to square root 25. I will have two answers. One is positive 5 and the other one will be negative 5. So whenever you square root, always remind yourself it must be a positive and negative, unless it is about magnitude. So if you solve, your p is negative 8 and then your p is 2, right? Negative 3 plus 5, so it's 2. So in this case, we have actually two values. You see the question already give you the clue. Values means your p should be two values, negative 5, negative 8 and and 2, right? Just now we have negative 8 and 2, right? This is the answer. Okay, for number 1. So up to you. Some people will actually just solve it like this. Maybe you can just solve it and find the roots. Okay, so then because the x is negative 3, so you substitute the x as the roots, so x can be substituted, right? So the concept is when it is a root, you can substitute into the equation, alright? So we have solved number 1 for quadratic equation. Now let's see number 2, the function. This is a function. Find the range of value of x such that the quadratic function, this is not equation, it's a function, right? Okay, quadratic function and equation totally different. For function, this fx, you cannot make it 0. Okay, it's unknown value, it's unknown, and it is a subject. You have to write all the way down like this. When the function is always negative, it means that this function is going to be less than 0, right? It will be less than 0, right? Function is negative. So we need to stick to positive, bring to the right? We don't want to have negative, which is actually very confused. So when you bring to the right, this thing you must be very careful, because when you shift over here, it seems like the inequality sign here is more than 0, right? You shift everything and then you are reading from the right hand side, isn't it? So the inequality sign should be more than. Okay, so get the concept right first, then followed by you have to factorize. You can actually use a calculator to factorize, or maybe use a mental calculator. Okay, this should be 1. So it's x plus 1, right? Minus 4 and plus 1, negative 3. Alright, so then we will use a graphical method. So actually this is positive. A is positive, is a U shape, right? Smiling face, right? Happy. So okay, I'm going to plug in the negative 1 here, and then 4 here. The bigger one to the right, the smaller one to the left. Okay, since the function, do you know that this is a function? This is a function, or y. This is y is more than 0. So here, all this point here, at this point here, y is 0, right? Y 0 here, the one that I dot in purple color, all the y here are positive. So that means actually the concept is we want to know the range of the x. So the range of the x is actually we highlight here, right? These are the range of the x. You will go to the left, so it's less, right? So it will go to the right. These are the range of the x. So the answer will be x more than 4 and x less than negative 1. Alright? If the question asking for the less than 0, so you will focus to the this part. This side is fx less than 0. Negative, right? Okay. Alright, so we have solved the inequality. Now let's proceed to number 3. So basically your exam, they will test you concept like this. You can use a graphical method, or you can use a line method. You have many methods. You have 3 methods, right? Okay, let's see number 3. Okay, let's read the question. We will read the English one. Given the quadratic function again. Okay, you're given the quadratic function like this. Wow, so long. M is a constant. It's always positive. Okay, whenever you see always positive, and it's a function positive, so you cannot jump into a conclusion that positive it must be more than 0. Alright, this is a very common mistake. So now I would like to highlight to you, what is quadratic function? Quadratic function is a graph, isn't it? Let's sketch a graph. Alright, let's sketch a graph. So you can just sketch because it looks like it's positive, right? So we just sketch a simple graph. And because it's positive, means function is always referring to y, right? So that means positive, all the y value that must be positive. That is how you come up with the concept that function is always positive, means the y is always positive. Function is referring to y or the fx value. So you cannot sketch like this. If you sketch, let's say you sketch like this, it means you don't understand. Because for this part, the function is negative. Always positive means that you cannot fall below the x-axis. It must be above the x-axis. Even you sketch like this, also is considered wrong because here is not positive, right? So the concept must be right first. Okay, so basically this is your idea when you see function is always positive. Okay, I just want to highlight to you, majority of the students will get the wrong concept, and because of that we cannot have x-intercept. If we cannot have the x-intercept, it means it has no roots. So this is another concept. So that means a b square minus 4ac less than 0 if no roots. This one I repeated many times. So I hope that during exam you don't say you don't know how to do. You must memorize. So for this case is b square minus 4ac. If you are having the situation like this, whereby it cut the x-axis or intersect at two different places, so your b square minus 4ac will be more than 0. So this is actually very common question in exam. If you are having the curve touches or tangent, sometimes they say tangent, right? Tangent is just touch at a point. Okay, tangent means that it touches, it just lies on the x-axis. So this one actually it doesn't mean that it is positive because it's one of the root is there, is b square minus 4ac equals 0, equal root. You can find one value of x here. You got two value, x1, x2. 2x intersect means two roots. Two roots means two different or distinct roots. Here 1x means one root or equal roots. So you got to memorize all these. Equal roots, b square minus 4ac equal to 0. Distinct root, b square minus 4ac more than 0. And the function is always positive. It means what? It means b square minus 4ac less than 0. That is why many students get it wrong, because when they say positive, they always put more than 0. Very common mistake, okay? So I just highlight to you. So in this case, when you see question like type of the roots, we always read out the A, the B, the C. This is a A, this is a B. They already arranged in order. This is a C, right? So we will just use a b square minus 4ac less than 0. Right, let's do it here. So the A is actually 2m plus 1, right? B is negative 3m. C is 2m minus 4. So you need to practice now, especially the Form 4 student, because you are new. You seldom practice, you will get a lot of mistake, you know. Okay, this is I spent already 2m minus 4. So I copy down my ABC. Then I'm going to use the concept just now. Function always positive means b square minus 4ac less than 0, right? Not more than 0. Don't say positive is always more than 0. For this case, it's special. So be careful when you substitute. Substitute carefully. I'm sure you will get the answer finally. And keep on practice so that you can go fast, right? So I hope that especially those Form 4 students, you manage to finish your exam, so hopefully. So normally we'll expand the bracket first. 2m and 2m will be 4m square, and then minus, be careful, and then plus 2, right? And then minus 4, right? Close the bracket, less than 0. Okay, so now let's simplify carefully. So we have 9m square minus 16m square plus, we have plus, this is, we simplify, negative 8 plus 2, negative 6m. So we have negative become positive, right? This part especially be careful, double confirm. Negative 6, negative 4, positive. Okay, then this one is negative plus 16 less than 0. So finally we'll simplify to the simplest form. We have negative again, so we need to make it positive. We always want the coefficient positive, right? So bring everything to the right again like just now, but make sure you be careful with the sign. And then I think you can use a calculator, but make sure it is positive, simplest form. Then I think you can use a because the question never asks you to use graphical method or what, right? Find the p and the m more than p, m less than q. Okay, that means let's find out the P and Q first. So more than 0, let's use another method. Just now we use a graphical method, right? Actually, you can use any method you like. So we use a table method. So if table method, we have to write down the factors, right? And then n minus 4. Then okay, so we're going to write the symbol. So let's see if we actually try to put in the positive, negative, right? If we choose, let's say m is one value, which is negative 4/7. If you solve, m is negative 4/7. So we choose negative 1, 0, and 1. Okay. If let's say we choose, we can actually plug in the value that suitable. So negative 1. So if negative 1, we will get negative 7, right? Plus 4 negative. This one will be positive. Then will be positive, right? For n minus 4, for the value less than value, okay, we substitute, will be negative also, negative 5. Here will be negative also, here will be positive 1 minus 4. Okay, let's see, we have we will choose more than 4, right? This one. Okay, just now for this one we chose negative 1, so for this one we choose negative 1, 0, and 5. Okay, 5 will give us positive, right? It means we will choose a value based on the borderline value. For example, you have negative 4/7, and then you have 1 here. Here you can choose 0, you can use 0. Here you can choose negative 1, right? So we choose. Okay, for another value, for table 1 we can do that. For 4 we can use 0 and 5, right? So we let the n minus 4 equal to 0, and we choose this value accordingly, right? So finally we just multiply. We have negative, we have positive here. So that means if we want positive, your answer should be less than, should be here, less than, and less than negative 4/7, then should be more than 4. Right, that is how you solve using table method. If you use the graph, I think some of you like to use a graph. You just sketch a simple graph like this. Just add the line. Actually, every method is the same. Okay, so positive is this side, positive this side, right? Function is positive, like just now. So we will actually read the range of the x here, range of the x here. The x is m. Okay, don't write x, you will get minus 1 mark. So because the question say m is, you have p and q, right? M is less than q, more than p. Okay, less than q is to the left, so this is the q, this is the p, so p is 4. Okay, let's write down p is 4 and q is negative 4/7. Now we need to answer accordingly because the question asking for value. Find the value of p and q. So finally your answer must write in terms of value. P is 4, q is negative 4/7, and then p is 4. Okay, so you cannot just stop your answer here. If you stop your answer here, you'll be penalized by minus 1 mark. Alright? Okay, so let's proceed to question number 4. For paper 1, we have one more question before we discuss the paper 2, right? Okay, so let's see the Now question number 4 is also paper 1 question. Okay, question number 4, let's read the question. Okay, diagram shows the graph of the quadratic function. Okay, we have the graph y equal to x minus h squared plus m. Right, so let's see the graph. Where's the graph? Okay, this one, right? This is a graph. Alright, so find the coordinate q and find the value of a. Now let's jot down the y equal to a x minus h squared plus m. Okay, so we write here y equal to a x minus h squared plus m. Okay, this is a vertex form. So the moment I see the equation, how I know it's in vertex form, I can see that it's a perfect square, right? Can you see that? It's a perfect square and the value. So it's actually follow the pattern, general pattern, standard one. So we have perfect square with a with a perfect square and then a constant here. So normally when you see this vertex form, you can write the turning point by let this perfect square 0. So if perfect square 0, x will be h. It will be opposite sign. If here negative, here will be positive. This is positive h. Then m. So actually this point is actually the point happen at q. This is the turning point. So we can actually find the midpoint because this is h. So h is actually negative 2 plus 8 over 2, right? So h is 6 over 2, which is 3. So we can say that the point h is 3. And then the m is actually this value. So we can actually go to the graph, go to the question and read the straight line is actually y equal to negative 5 is a tangent to the curve at point Q. So we need to draw the tangent. Some of you are not sure what's the tangent. What is tangent? Tangent is a straight line that touches the curve at a point. This is the only point that touches the straight line. So it's actually y equal to negative 5. So we can say that m is negative 5. Alright, so first of all, you must understand tangent. It touches one point, right? Of course, it will touch at the turning point, right? So then find the value of a. Okay, in order to find the value of a, you can use any point on the curve, but not the turning point. So I'm going to use this point or this point. I think I will choose this point. Positive. This is negative 2, 0. Both points will give you the answer, but we choose a positive value so that we won't make mistake. So we will substitute into the curve here. Okay, that just now it was 8, 0. That means the y is 0. A is the one that we want to find. X actually is 8 minus h. Just now we have the h is 3, right? Plus m. M we have negative 5, right? Okay, so let's bring the 5 over. This is 5, 25, 8. So A is 1 over 5. Yes, it is right because this is a positive value and it should be a U shape, right? Okay, that's how you find the coefficient A. Okay, so that is actually about the quadratic function. Now let's proceed to the next question, which is about the curve. It is given that the curve, okay, let's read the question first. Where k is a constant, intersect the y. Okay, the moment you see the word intersect, you will actually do the simultaneous so you sub 1 into 2. Alright, that is the key words. Intersect means it will meet. So when it meets means you have to do simultaneous. This is a very basic concept that you must memorize. If you see intersect, you still don't know what to do, that means you cannot do at all. So always remind yourself, intersect you have to do simultaneous equation, and then you arrange in general form, right? Then I'm sure you should know how to do, because I just explained to you. Intersect, of course you will have more than 0 because intersect at 2 points. So but before that, in order to read the A, the B, the C, you have to arrange in general form. Okay, try to stick to A positive, and you use B square minus 4AC more than 0. For your information, for all the students, this is a very common question in SPM exam. Every here and then you have see this type of question coming out, right? Either no roots or two distinct roots. Okay, repeat and repeat. So you just keep on practice so that you won't make the mistake. Okay, so read your A, B, C carefully. Double check. Okay, this is a A. Let me highlight the A, and this is a B, and this is a C. So B is negative 8 square. This is a B. Okay, minus 4. A, this is a A, and this is a C. Right, so we have 64. Okay, normally when you see 3 things multiply, we'll solve the number. This is plus 16 first, like this. Okay, make sure you simplify these two by multiply. More than 0, so I'm going to simplify further. So 64 plus 16k minus 48 more than 0. So 16k will be more than negative 16. So k will be more than negative 1. Right, this is the answer for number 5. Okay, so we have discussed a very popular question in your coming exam. Okay, so let's proceed to question number 6. Okay, for question number 6, let's read the question. The graph of a quadratic function, normally students are very big in quadratic function, okay, has a minimum point. When you see minimum point, basically when you see minimum point, okay, let me see. Let me highlight minimum point. So it should be actually a U shape, right? Okay, now the question says state the value of h. Okay, the h is the coefficient of x squared, so it should be positive, right? So h is between negative 1 to 0, inclusive of negative 1 to 1. It's inclusive of negative 1 and 1, so of course we don't choose a negative. 0 is impossible, so we'll choose 1, right? If you, let's say you choose 0, it won't form the quadratic equation, the whole thing is 0. You get a linear equation. So basically you got negative 1, 0 and 1 because it's integer. Okay, so h obviously should be 1. Okay, so that is how you choose the right answer. Okay, so why we choose h equal to 1? Because of the coefficient of the x squared must be 0, and because it's a U shape. Okay, so that's to test you the coefficient. B, using the answer from A, find the range of values of k does not intersect the x-axis. If it does not intersect the x-axis, that means let's write down the curve. This is a curve. So we will use the because we're asking to u h equal to 1, so I actually substitute the 1 here. so it becomes x squared, right? Okay, so we are going to find the range of values of k, so that means we have to use a b squared minus 4ac less than 0. Why? Because it does not intersect, meaning that it does not have roots. So a is 1, b is k minus 1, c is 4, right? So we substitute carefully. K minus 1 square minus 4 times 1 times 4 less than 0. So we will actually expand, or we can do like this. K minus 1 square minus 16 less than 0, right? Then we will factorize, minus minus will be plus, and then we need to use the factorization. Okay, looks like k is minus pi and plus 3, right? Will give you -2. So we will use a sketching method, or we use a graph method. So normally we just sketch, because the U shape, stick to positive U shape always. So less than 0 should be here, right? Okay, it means that the y is negative. Okay, again. Okay, the y is negative. This is -3, this is 5. So the y is negative from here to here. I'm going to show you the y is negative. Okay, so this part, all the y value negative, this one negative, right? So for this part, what is the range of x? X is from here to here. So x is more than -3 but less than 5, right? It's the range of the x. So that we have the shaded region here, whereby all the y are negative. This side fx less than 0. Okay, right, so you can shade like this, also no problem. Okay, so we have discussed a very popular question in exam, so I'm sure if you follow well the lesson, you can do well in exam, right? So let's see. For question number 7, we still got another few more questions before we can discuss paper 2. So for paper 2, I will actually discuss in next lesson, okay? Because it's quite time consuming. Alright, so we will discuss question number 7. Let's see how to do this question. Okay, question number 7 is about the quadratic equation. Given the quadratic equation, okay, let's see how to do. Has 2 equal roots. So equal roots means b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Meanwhile, we have 2. For this one is equal 0. Okay, for another one, for this one, it has no roots. So for this one, we'll use b squared minus 4ac less than 0, right? So we have 2 scenarios. Okay, then find express range of q in terms of h. Wow, this is not easy. So we do the one with the equal root first. Okay, so for this one, p squared x squared plus 7qx plus 9 equal roots, right? So we use a is p squared, b is 7q, c is 9. So b squared minus 4ac, 7q squared minus 4p squared, and then 9 equals 0. So what you can do is you can only simplify like this, 36p squared, right? So equals 0. Then what the question 1? The question 1 express in terms express the range of the Q. The range of the Q in terms of P. So we have to write down the P equal to how many Q first. That means 36P square equal to 49Q square. So P square is 49 over 36Q square. That means if I square root, I will have plus minus 7 over 6Q. This is number 1. Now for number 2, we have another story. Right, so it's quite confusing. So for number 2, the other quadratic equation has no roots. Okay, A is H, B is negative 2, and then C is 2P, right, for this one. So we are going to use B squared minus 4AC less than 0 because the question mentioned no roots, right? So it's negative 2 square minus 4. Okay, this is H, and then 2P less than 0. So we just do accordingly 8HP less than 0. Now the question say express the P. Okay, so we will have to write P 4 less than 8HP. That means P is more than 4 over 8H or 1 over 2H. Okay, let's write it properly. Okay, 4 over 8H, that means P more than 1 over 2H. This is number 2. Now we need to solve the two inequality because we have one positive, one negative that bring the trouble to us. Okay, now let's say we use a positive one, 7Q over 6 positive is more than 1 over 2H. So in this case, the Q will be more than 1 over 2H times 6 over 7. So the Q will be more than 3 over 7H. Alright? Okay, if we are having negative, because we have two values, so we have negative 7 over 6Q more than 1 over 2H. So the Q, we have to revert the sign, right, because of the negative. So we have two pairs of answers. We have two answers. It's either this or this. Okay, so this is question number 7, which is a bit challenging. Let's proceed to question number 8. Okay, question number 8. Question number 8 is actually about the quadratic function, right? Okay, so let's see. Diagram show the quadratic function. So let's erase. Okay, quadratic function fx. We have a quadratic function. Alright, so it's f. Let's write down like this. P x negative n plus qx plus r. Okay, if I look at this one, it seems like the shape is n shape. So a quadratic equation, the power must be equal to 2. That means n should be negative 2, right? And then, okay, what is the question asking? Let's see. Okay, the value of n is negative 2. If fx equal to 0, fx equal to 0, product of the root is r. State the value of p and q. Product means that we have to take the negative m. This is the roots, right? You must know that this is the root, the x-intercept. So we have two roots. We can call this as alpha, this is beta. So alpha is negative m, beta is positive m. right? So we have to use a formula. Okay, let's see. Sum of the root. Okay, let's write down the equation. The equation is px squared plus qx plus r equals 0. So we have the sum of the root is negative b over a, right? Okay, let's write down. Okay, let's say the roots are alpha and beta, but the root there is negative m and m. It was given, so we don't have to use roots are negative m. So take the two root and plus negative b over a, right? So we can actually say that negative q over p equal to 0. Hence, we can say that q must be 0, right? Because 0 divided by anything will give answer 0. So the question is asking find the value of q. Q is 0, right? Okay, the q will be 0. Then in order to find the p, we will use the product of the roots. Just now we use the sum of the root, right? Now this is actually sum of the roots. Negative m equal to c is r over p. So negative m squared equal to r over p. Right, so then we have to solve the value of the p. Okay, so that means just now we have the c over a, r over p. Okay, so the negative m squared, the p is, what's the value of p? Oh, the question says the product of the roots is negative r. That means we will actually say that product of roots r over p is equal to negative r. It is given by the question. So that means we will solve this one. Negative pr equal to r. So r plus pr equal to 0. So we will actually factorize r. So the r will be equal to 0 and p equal to negative 1. Right? So we have to follow whatever information given by the question. Product of the root is negative r. So please remember that. Sum of the root you have to look it up from the graph. Right? Okay, now let's see question. We have one more question for paper 1, which is question number 9, right? Let's see. Okay, the graph of quadratic function given has a maximum point of 2 and then h minus 11. So basically when you see a question like this, we want to find the value of h. We have to actually convert this one into vertex form. Okay, 4 times 3, 12h, and then 4 minus, don't expand. Just rearrange into a vertex form like this. So for those of students who actually don't know what's going on, they will expand everything, so you won't get any answer. So from the vertex form, we can read 2 and 12h is actually the is a n shape, is a maximum point, right? So this is a max because here is negative 4. You know that? This is negative 4. It means it's an n shape with the highest point is this one. Okay, 12h is the highest value. So the question say the point was given, so we can say 12 and h minus 11 are the same. So then we can just solve the 12h is equal to h minus 11. That means 11h equal to negative 11. Hence the h will be equal to negative 1. Right? This is what the question asking for part A. Then how about the part B? Okay, state the type of the roots of the function fx equal to 0. Okay, in order to find the type of the roots when the fx equal to 0, we will actually use a function which is just now we have negative 4 x minus 2 square minus 12, because the h is 1, so h is negative 1, right? So we substitute back. Just now we get the h is actually negative 1, so this is plus the 12h, so it will become negative 12 because the h is negative 1, right? Okay, h is negative 1. Now we will rearrange this one and then let the fx equal to 0 and then solve the x. So because it's actually let fx 0, then only you can find the roots, right? So we want to find what it belongs to what kind of the roots. So either you want to factorize or you want to use b squared minus 4ac and bring over equal to negative 12. I'm sure I cannot get the roots. So never mind, you can actually do it at negative 3. So when you reach like this, you cannot solve. So you can actually just show that expand then plus 3, and you how to show you no roots, use a b squared minus 4ac lesson. Show to the people that you are having b squared minus 4ac, that will be less than 0. So negative 4 is a b, minus 4 times 1 times 7. So I'm sure you get one figure which is negative, right? So it's negative 12. Yes, it seems like b squared minus 4ac less than 0. Hence, conclusion is no real roots, right? Okay, because you are having b squared minus 4ac, which is negative 12, which is a number which is less than 0, right? So that's actually about the topic quadratic function and quadratic equation, and all these are actually popular question in exam. Type of the roots. Okay, please make sure you follow well for the revision that I'm going to discuss in my next video teaching for paper 2.